Do you think that was like one of the last things he saw? He's like watching a Jeff Dunham special as SEAL Team 6 was coming
Yeah,
in.
SEAL Team 6 just took the credit. He was already dead before they got there.
It's like his soul is drained out. Mr. Obama, he's like, was it Jeff Dunham?
Hey, it's the Rebeltaxi Pizza Party podcast, and we have an official Discord channel, and I assume that's linked below. I'm not sure. I don't keep track of that stuff. But we also have a guest and also another person. Who are you people?
So I'm Def Pina. I'll talk about art people.
And I am Charlie. I usually go by Charlie G online, and I'm a storyboard artist and director in TV animation.
Yeah. What are you here to talk about, Charlie? Oh, actually, you know what? Let's list off some things you worked on. What have you worked on?
Sure. Yeah, I've worked on a good number of shows. I've been in the industry about 10 years. In order, they are Clarence for Cartoon Network. I worked on Harvey Beaks for Nickelodeon. Then I worked on Big City Greens over at Disney. And then I was on a little known but underrated show called The Mighty Ones, which is a Hulu exclusive, but it also airs on Peacock, I think. And that was at DreamWorks, which was awesome because the campus is really nice and they have free food. So I never had to buy lunch.
Oh, sweet.
It's pretty good. And after that, I was over on Jellystone season 1.
Oh, wow.
Now I am supervising directing on Strange Planet, which is a new adult animated series coming to Apple. It's the blue alien webcomic.
Yeah. It's like one of those things I recognize but don't know, but I see
that.
it.
Yes. It was funny when I started working on the show. I was like, how does everybody know what this is? Because I've never heard of it. And someone was like, well, do you go on Facebook? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, that's why.
Ew, Facebook.
Yeah, I guess we could share it on Facebook a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're on Twitter, you might see Charlie's comics. Like, you do talk about the industry a lot in your things.
Yes, that is right. Yeah, for the last, I guess, couple years now, I've been making comics about like the experience of, what it's like working in animation, sort of with like a focus on mental health stuff and depression and overworking and even like substance abuse and stuff like that.
For or against substance abuse?
Mostly against. If you can make it work for you, more power to you. But I'm against substance abuse if you are somebody who has a problem. I'm completely neutral on it otherwise.
We're like, we love Charlie, we love his work. Does a bit of cocaine before work, but you know what? Keeps it to himself.
So I never got to the hard drugs.
Yeah, personally, I feel every drug's worth trying once.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's how you tried crack that one time.
Hell yeah, good stuff. All you gotta do is not buy it, It's pretty easy, I think. I don't know, I never tried it.
I've never done cocaine or any kind of hard drug. I've never even done like E or anything, but I feel like I would always be at a party and then someone would be like, oh, so-and-so did coke at that party. And I was like, how come nobody offers this stuff to me? Am I like lame or something?
Dang, what the heck? Yeah, share the coke for everyone.
I probably wouldn't have done it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the principle of the matter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to feel left out.
That's right.
You don't give it to Charlie, he hogs it all.
Yeah.
I know. I might have. Probably good they didn't, in retrospect.
I assume with crack you can...
Coke is very expensive.
You can double speed storyboarding with crack, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you could. They talk about like...
They probably just wouldn't be good.
Well, back in the 60s and stuff, like, the people who were making the original Star Trek, they were all on methamphetamine or some kind of upper pills. So were the Beatles. Well, so maybe not crack, but...
Well, back then it was kind of legal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was fine. Everyone was doing it.
I think it was more normalized.
Yeah, it's just a simpler time. Everyone did drugs. It was okay. It didn't ruin anyone's lives. It's fine.
To go into the Walt Disney Studio animating for Snow White, everyone's just doing uppers.
Well, I have heard there was a lot of... I heard an interview with someone who was like an ink and paint girl at the time, and she was like, we had our bottles of rum that we would stash in our desk, and we would just drink all day. So, there you go.
Yeah, the golden age. Hell yeah. But you wanted to promote something?
Yes. Okay, so I am currently crowdfunding a new project. It is something that I've been working on for a long time, and has characters in it that are very near and dear to me. Amid everything that has kind of been going on in the industry, and even kind of before this current wave of headlines, I've had friends who were in development, and basically were essentially just kind of gaslit by studios who would buy their project with like no real intention of making it. So it being something that's very near and dear to me, I wasn't super interested in going the studio route, and that was even before all of this stuff, happened with HBO Max, maybe dissolving, and Netflix kind of seemingly dissolving its animation department. But yeah, the show, it's a buddy comedy. It's called Boxtown, and it is sort of a film noir, crime, seedy world. But like one thing that I wanted to do with the show that is sort of a challenge to be able to do it, studio adult animation, is to have like really appealing characters, like cute quote unquote character designs. A lot of adult animation is the kind of falls into the category of like being super, kind of hyper violent, or being kind of like stoner bro comedy, or it's something like The Simpsons or any of its many. I don't want to say ripoffs, but essentially there's a lot of shows
Inspired
like that.
Buys?
Yeah, I've heard that like you're sort of encouraged to fit the mold of one of those things, and I just sort of wasn't super interested in doing that. So we're trying to crowdfund it and just sort of have it not locked behind any subscription service, have it be available to everyone on YouTube. And beyond that, like we have a lot of high ambitions for what we want to do. Myself and the group of artists that I'm working with, who've worked on a lot of great stuff, including, like some of them, worked on Pibby, Over the Garden Wall, a bunch of just really awesome projects. Essentially what we want to do is kind of have this collective that is called the Bandit Mill Collective, where we essentially, the idea that we'd like to build up, we're focusing on Boxtown, the pilot right now, and trying to get it funded because, you got to do one thing at a time. But what I'd really like to grow this into eventually is kind of set up a funding apparatus, whether it be through Indiegogo, which we're currently using, whether we're able to build up the Patreon. And essentially it would be a way to fund a pilot program that would be kind of similar to, what they do with cartoons, except the difference would be the creators would own the rights to anything that was created by Bandit Mill, essentially.
Yeah, like Image Comics.
Exactly, yeah. And so, so the tagline for the show is... a mediocre detective with a penchant for cons teams up with a true crime-obsessed 8-year-old orphan to solve the odd mysteries of Boxtown, a neon megacity on the cusp of being overrun by violence and greed. And it's just this fun buddy comedy. Like the characters are very much sort of based on the two halves of my personality. There's definitely vibes of like Sam and Max. There's maybe kind of light Rick and Morty vibes, with there being sort of an adult character and a child who are kind of at the center of the show and work together. But it's really sort of a take on like looking at the relationship that Batman and Robin have, where Robin is like this child and Batman is sort of his guardian, and this show is like a meditation on like how kind of fucked up relationships like that are, and like what that would kind of be like if it wasn't presented through this shining, glorified, semi-fascistic, I don't know, not Batman's not a fascist, but the Dark Knight Returns vibes, or whatever the Frank Miller comic was.
I think it's Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of influences, but I would say it kind of definitely like Sam and Max vibes. There's a little bit of sort of Smiling Friends similarity in there, I would say, kind of tonally, but it's really a riff on like classic film noir films, and like we want to make it cinematic. We don't want to keep it flat like a lot of sort of adult animation is by default. Like, it'll be very flat, and there'll be a joke and the camera will widen out to reveal the thing, which is that's just kind of how comedy staging works. But we just want to do something outside of the sort of cliches that you are expected to do if you sort of partner with a big studio.
This is for Indiegogo, right?
Yes, correct. We're currently funding on Indiegogo. We're trying to hit 150K to fully finance the pilot episode. We're currently at 24,000. So it's seen a lot of support so far, and I've been very encouraged by how people have kind of received it. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting because we want to do sort of a mixed media thing with like CG backgrounds where you can really kind of play up the kind of, neon, almost like Blade Runner-esque kind of thing where you can, do environmental effects like fog and smoke and get really moody. But at the same time having 2D characters, almost kind of like Roger Rabbit in a weird way, sort of.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, but there was some episode of My Life as a Teenage Robot where they did have 3D backgrounds with
Oh,
2D
cool.
characters, but it was a reference to like when Fleischer would have like stop motion backgrounds on Popeye.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an aesthetic that like I've always loved from my childhood. Maybe for like kind of gross reasons. Like I honestly think back to when I was a little kid. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Vault Disney, the show that used to be on Disney Channel, like
Bonkers
back in the 90s. Well, it was just like they would show old Disney animation, and they had this intro that was like simulating a ride, basically like a Disney ride, and
yeah,
it was like early CG.
Talking about Blam?
I think I know it was like a bunch of cardboard cutouts. You're going through the ride.
Yeah,
that was before they play a movie. I think
something about that like really latched onto my brain. I don't know why, and I've always liked this aesthetic of like 2D characters and CG backgrounds.
Yeah, essentially like Paper Mario, I guess. But there's a lot of indie games doing that now. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, it's something you see in indie games, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, for the the animation style, would this be frame by frame or would it be rigged?
It kind of depends on what our budget ends up being, honestly. I would like to do, frame by frame hand drawing of the characters. I'm not opposed to puppet if it's done very well, but it would not be my preference. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
That's a good pun.
Yes, there you go. It's been done very well in certain things. Like, I really love the way that Mercury Filmworks, their shows with, like, the Mickey Mouse show, specifically, like, Ghost and Molly McGee.
Yeah.
And I think Hilda, they animate, too. Like, those shows are beautiful. So there's a lot you can do with puppet animation, but I would like to do hand-drawn, and kind of my initial sort of research and people that I have kind of been keeping tabs on to hire is sort of with it being 2D hand-drawn in mind. But, in order to be able to do that at the highest quality, we essentially need to hit the 150K, which, is optimistic for sure, but it's what we would like to do. And then, whatever we end up doing, we'll probably either seek private funding. I don't even know what that means. I say that as if that I have a plan for that, but I don't.
Maybe not admit that.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, transparency.
Editor, you can cut this out, I think.
No.
Yeah, right. I'm like, do I know any rich people? I've got to know some rich people. I have to think about that.
To take the devil's hand and put some crypto monkeys in here.
I know.
Yeah. Although I was thinking, like, for what I'm doing for my pilot, it is traditional animated, but, like, if you watch, like, Powerpuff Girls, you'll notice there is barely any animation, any in-between frames often. Like, even the movie, it is a lot of just good poses and just, like, sliding the camera around.
Oh, totally. I mean, TV animation is always, like, even looking back to the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, it's like, it's very elegantly designed to be cheaply done. So it's not like cheap as like bad in and of itself. Like, people have innovated that stuff in the past. If you look at, UPA and some of those like 50s kind of, there's even some Disney commercials from the 50s that are done in that style. That are like very appealing. Very low actual amount of drawings.
Yeah, like I'm just like thinking like, what's the best, how do I make something look good, but with as little frames as possible and to get out as fast as possible? And
exactly.
One thing I'm doing is like sketchy outlines. That way it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like, hey.
Totally, yeah.
Just like find any sort of like loopholes or just, well, not loopholes, but just,
Yeah, I mean,
works.
look at home movies. Like,
yes.
I feel like that's a good example of, or even like Aqua Teen. Like, they barely move in
no
that
leg.
show.
Yeah, it was also inspired by Powerpuff Girls, how they didn't have, well, Powerpuff Girls just floated around. They didn't have walk cycles, and neither do the Aqua Teens.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, they already have everything animated. They just what was it? In the behind-the-scenes DVD featurette, they said if you played all the animation, it'd be like 5 minutes worth of animation.
Oh man, yes.
They just put it all together in Final Cut Pro.
Yes, genius. Hell yeah.
Well, I've heard like back at Fleischer Studios in the 70s when they were making the Star Trek animated series, they would like have a competition to see who could, do the least drawing as possible, and like would try to make episodes out of completely recycled material.
Oh my god, yes,
and
I
you
love
can tell.
God.
If you watch that show.
Yeah, they had a lot of close-ups of the characters like turning.
Kirk's face always like taking up like half the screen. Yeah.
They did that in the live action one too, to be fair, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get that Shatner in full view.
Yeah, but what happens if you don't make the 150?
Actually, let's put a stop. Let's say you reach 50,000. Let's give a price point.
If I reach 50,000, I feel pretty confident I will be able to use that, get some other people to invest in it by being like, look at what we were able to accomplish essentially. And like, look, there is support and demand for something like this out there. Because initially, like our original goal was to pay for pre-production. And, you know, based on, you know, I'm self-funding some of this myself. And so combined with my self-funding, we were only originally asking for $15,000 to pay for, you know, basically storyboarding, you know, but we blazed past that in less than a week. And so we always had these stretch goals. And the 150K, like it's the second stretch goal essentially. The first stretch goal is 20K. We can start production. And so we've gone through that, and yeah, now we're just on a wing and a prayer. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like I feel I'm surprised. Like I was very worried to launch this thing. I thought I would just be embarrassed and fall on my face, but people have been very supportive. Like Alex Hirsch donated 1,000, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's definitely encouraging, like the kind of, especially with all the shit that's been going on lately in the animation industry. Like, I feel like a few things have happened recently that have kind of illustrated how much community there is in the sort of, because a lot of the people backing it right now are artists who like want to see something like this exist. Yeah, like the support has just been super awesome.
Yeah, that's real good. How many days are left? Well, never mind. This podcast comes out in a week, so I don't know. But
right, yeah. As of now, there's 41 days left.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of time. Yeah. Oh, can you say like what the episode premise is? Like just a basics.
Yeah, I can give you the basics. Essentially, what happens in the pilot is we meet. So in this world, like sort of detectives are like kind of like the superheroes of our world, essentially. And so the way the pilot starts is we're actually at like a detective convention, which is sort of like Comic-Con. And we're introduced to Bill, who is the child orphan character. And we find out that he is just like, he's this kid who's like obsessed with true crime. He's got his own true crime podcast.
Yes.
He just wants to be a detective. You know, he's kind of this awkward sort of kid, but, you know, he's super excitable and, you know, he's got great instincts essentially. And he lives with these like cranky nuns who are like sort of Sound of Music inspired. Like he lives in a basically Catholic orphanage where all the other kids have been adopted out except for him. And then we're introduced to Tim, who is the con man, sort of sleazy adult detective guy. He's sort of a, you know, pretty similar to like a Saul Goodman type, where essentially like he's only at the convention because he's trying to, you know, get money from somebody. And essentially what happens is like a bunch of people that Tim has conned and screwed over corner him in an alley, and they're going to beat him to a pulp, essentially. Almost kind of like in The Music Man when like all the salesmen almost catch up with Harold Hill, and it's like they finally cornered him. They've got lead pipes and stuff. They're gonna possibly kill him, and essentially Bill, the kid orphan, intervenes, and he says, you know, like, you guys can't do this or whatever. And what happens is we find out Bill actually has this condition that we're calling dissociative rage disorder, where if he's mocked, he basically hulks out, you know, his eyes turn red. He doesn't transform, but another personality takes over, like in Total Recall with like Hauser.
Yeah.
And he becomes essentially like a mini John Wick, and he's just like a little Bruce Lee, and he's just a fury of death and punches. And he's punching his fist through people. He's breaking arms. He's popping spleens. And so Tim, the con man detective, sees this and he's like, oh, this could be useful for me. This kid could be like a bodyguard. And so essentially he mentors him as a detective. It's a little bit of like, kind of like Mob Psycho. What's the name of that anime?
I guess Mob Psycho, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Similar vibes where, you know, there's kind of an earnest sort of kid being mentored by a kind of sleazy guy.
So for the pilot itself, because it's just the pilot that you're funding.
Yes, currently.
How long is it?
22 minutes is the plan.
Okay. And say this is successful, right? Say people like it. would you do a second, like Indiegogo for a second episode, or would you want to fund a season?
Yeah, the plan would be either to crowdfund the next episode or just basically crowdfund the whole rest of the season.
Yeah.
Now, with this being a collective, the Bandit Mill,
Yes.
right? Is there anyone in your circle that has other ideas, like any other pilots you want to pursue?
There are, and we're talking about that right now. But it's very much sort of loose. We need to see what happens first before we can put all of our eggs in the basket. But there definitely are discussions happening and sort of plans that have been formulated. I know that sounds very vague, but it all just sort of depends on like whether we get to make this first thing.
I guess it seems like after, I think, Helluva Boss, suddenly there was a bunch of just independent animation being started up. What would you say is would you say that's accurate? That was the reason, or just how terrible studios have been recently?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been very much out of the loop of all of that stuff. I think because I come from more the industry side, I sort of found out what Helluva Boss was very recently, and that's amazing. The success of that is like very much a lightning in a bottle. Like those cases like that are very rare. That something like that is a success on that astronomical level.
Yeah,
I think one of the things that does help us stand out, people with a lot of industry experience, not to say that hasn't been done before, because it definitely has. I know that, I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's a really
Ollie
cool,
Scoops?
Western...
Long Gun Gultch.
Ollie and Scoops, definitely.
Oh, Long Gun Gultch.
Gultch, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that thing is beautifully animated.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very inspirational, for sure.
Yeah, Zack and Tara are great.
Have you by chance seen the series Monster Lab, created by Hunter or Meat Canyon?
No, I've not. Oh, yes, actually, I think I have seen that. I think I saw the pilot of that like a year ago.
So they did a Kickstarter for 100,000.
Yeah.
They got 150,000.
Oh, wow.
And they were able to produce 8 episodes. A nice season length.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And rigged animation. They redid the thumbnails, to be fully painted. And everything looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, it really all depends on like where you sort of spend your polish points, basically. I think especially, I can't really speak to Meat Canyon except for as somebody who's a fan of his videos, but I think coming from being a content creator, probably with limited resources, I think somebody like that is set up to, once you get some resources, to spend it very efficiently.
Oh, he used to be a industry animator as well.
Oh, was he?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you know what he worked on?
Yeah.
I'd say it's been quite a bit since I made a video about him.
Actually, I'm very curious. I'm going to look this up.
Meat Canyon IMDb. Let's see.
Liver Spots and Astronauts TV series animator cleanup artist.
What the hell is that? Liver Spots Astronauts.
So that
never heard of
was...
that.
It has Keith David in it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a... what was it? You remember Facebook Watch?
No?
Yes, I do.
So that's... it was 21 episodes. It just aired on there. It's like the artist that... I think you spoke with them. They animated on that Horoscope show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Quibi original. Speaking of, I've been trying to log into Quibi and, it's not letting me go through. I got it on my phone. I'm pressing Quibi right now.
Yeah, just keep trying. There's so much great content.
I'm trying.
If you can just get in.
It's been a while. When are they going to fix it?
Well, it's a very interesting story. The Quibi original, Your Daily Horoscope, they every day, there was, I think, 12 new episodes.
Oh my god.
1 minute each or less.
Yeah. Interesting.
But the animator we spoke with, how'd you get the job? What'd you make, and they're like, oh, I was a graphic designer. And my boss one day said, can you animate? And she said, sure. Full disclosure, she didn't know how to animate. She just didn't want to lose her job.
Yeah.
And so basically her and her team had to learn how to animate. And by the end of it, they made I think 1,400 episodes.
1,400?
In a span of a year.
What the fuck?
How is that possible?
Well, they're just a minute long.
Very short.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
1,400 divided by 1. How many episodes is that? 140. Yeah, that's 140 minutes of content. That's a 2-hour movie almost. Yeah.
Pretty good.
And I think Roku bought out Quibi.
Yeah.
Or at least the content. Mm-hmm. So it's hey, you can see your work again.
Yes.
How does that work, though, if it's all vertical? I assume most people watching Roku are doing it on a television.
Oh, well, Quibi had the ability where if you,
I
tilt... Yeah. They made everything they broadcasted either vertical or horizontal shaped, so, you can watch any way you want, which is weird.
I feel like the idea of just turning your phone being such an inconvenience really restructures how you consume content, and that's just awful.
Holy, is it played?
It's interesting because I am somebody who actually legitimately wants to watch stuff in vertical,
Yeah.
but I don't want to watch my full screen be a cropped thing. I want to be able to, see the horizontal image with bars on top and bottom, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Snapchat original cartoon.
Snapchat
where the way they
original.
did it was a square aspect ratio, but then like they had a cut in on whoever was talking
Okay.
vertically. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It's like watching it's like a DS cutscene.
Yeah.
Vertically extended 4x3.
Look,
That was
sometimes
scary.
tooling around with the vertical format is like a new territory. You know, I'm so used to by 16:9 widescreen, but like vertical screen, that's like, damn, that's a whole new world.
They made some vertical Jellystone shorts
What?
when the show first came out. I didn't
Where
work on any of them.
Where are they available on?
I believe they're on YouTube. They're really good, actually.
Jellystone
Check.
shorts. Yeah, I never heard of that.
Were they like, oh, we just recorded it in universe kind of thing?
Just found them.
Yeah. Yep. If you look it up, you'll find all the Jellystone shorts video. That's like a
If you're watching
compilation.
this podcast on YouTube, we'll show like a clip.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jenks.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked the clip, everyone.
It was cool too because they had the revisionists do the shorts, so it was kind of like, sort of almost like training for,
Yeah.
doing full boards. I mean, some of them had been board artists, but they did a very good job with the shorts.
Like trained to be storyboard artists, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, some people take revisionist jobs because they can board, but it's so demanding to do storyboards sometimes that like revisionist, basically you get to have a life and you don't have to take your work home with you because you get smaller chunks and like smaller assignments. I have loved being a revisionist, honestly.
What is a revisionist for those who don't know at home? Because clearly
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. A storyboard revisionist. So like on a crew, you'll have the writers and they'll write a script or an outline. And then you have the storyboard artist who takes the script or the outline and fleshes it out into basically an animatic. But a lot of the time there's revisions that need to be done before it's animated, but after the network sees it, whether they be like network notes that you have to address. A lot of the time it's that, or especially on the case of something like Jellystone. Jellystone is a show that's board driven. So that means that the people storyboarding the episodes are actually writing the dialogue and writing the jokes, working off like a pretty loose outline. And when you're doing that, it's almost like doing two jobs in one. So you have to work rougher, essentially, to hit your deadlines. And so the revisionists function a lot of the time as like cleanup artists, where they'll make the drawings pretty, put stuff on model, and sort of add little flourishes here and there that just help it really sort of come to life and help the animators have more information to work off of, basically.
Yeah. Just someone that makes the information much clearer.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll get little sections where it's like, oh, we need something funny here. Just kind of go off and do something.
There was that storyboard I saw, I think it was by Karine Engel.
Oh, yeah.
They were showing off all those characters, and they wanted to have this Dr.Bigot as
Dr.
For those who don't know, Dr.Bigot is a vampire that made Yogi and his friends racist.
What?
It's a real thing.
Oh.
And the stands and practices said, oh, you can't just use that character.
Oh, man.
Please don't use that character. It's like, it's funny.
It's a real pre-existing Hanna-Barbera character?
Yes.
Well,
it was a 1973 appearance.
See you in season 3 of Jellystone, Dr. Bigot. Yeah.
It was funny though, because like I was in the writer's room for Jellystone season 2, and we would basically sit around and try to find characters that we had the rights to use. And there's so much complication to that.
Dang.
Like which characters are cleared for use and which aren't.
To wrangle the rights and figure out who owns it.
Well, it's a lot of the time it's stuff that they own, but they don't consider it like part of the they're not comfortable.
The cinematic universe?
Yeah, I mean, because Jellystone is kind of its own thing. So, for example, I think there's hesitation to use, big Hanna-Barbera properties like the Flintstones or the Jetsons, because they're always in some form of trying to reboot or rework those into something or making move. I feel like there's always a Flintstones show or movie in development hell.
I feel like the Flintstones are more adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess they don't want to flanderize the characters too much.
Usually it would just be us like wanting to make jokes about them and not actually having the character. I actually think there is something in season 1 where there's there's Flintstones references. Also, I did put the Scrappy found dead in Miami on a milk carton box.
No,
and that is in the show in some form. I don't think it says dead, but last seen in Miami. I think it says it's like Scrappy missing.
Oh man!
Like, come on, we got to do it. We got to do it.
Which
is funny because like everyone was just like, okay, and I don't think anybody, I don't think anyone cared at the studio.
I googled it and all that comes up is a bunch of squiggle lines.
Oh yeah, okay.
It.
Well, in the storyboard it said missing last seen in Miami.
Oh no, that's so very good.
I was shocked because I was like, I assumed there was already a reference to it in the show. I was like, how can you not?
R.I.P. Scrappy. He's freaking dead. One thing I gotta ask about Jellystone. Did they ever do anything with Yo Yogi? I'm trying to remember if they did or not.
Yes. I don't know in what detail, but I know there's definitely a reference to it. Like, I think there's a flashback in an episode, and the characters are wearing their costumes from Yo Yogi. Carl Greenblatt, the show creator, is very aware of Yo Yogi, and it was something that was discussed more than you would expect. So I know there's references to it. There's at least one. I don't remember what episode it's in.
Look, I wanted the green bear Moxie from Yo Yogi to show up. She was the punk bear that has like a bear, a bear trap. Hang on, let me show you. This is peak character design. It reminds me of the Smurfs when they would have like that emo Smurf show up. It's like, yeah. This is the best character ever. Punk rock bear.
I would guess that they tried to use that character and somebody was like, eh.
Someone's got to bring her back.
You never know. They just got to keep renewing the show.
No one is signing my change.org petition on her. Anyway, we can take that break now.
We're always in our clubhouse getting high. Super fuckers. Everybody wishes we would die. Super fuckers. Here we come like a bomb. Everybody fucking run.
Hey, and we're back with the questions. If anybody has a question, be sure to post them in the YouTube comments of this YouTube video, or you can go to our Discord and post some in the Q&A section of our official Discord, linked below. And who's our first question?
So we have Will and Will Studios. All right. To Charlie. So only Charlie can answer this. I'm a big fan of your comics.
Aw.
Do you plan on doing more animations based on them? P.S. Thanks for friending me on Switch.
Yeah, I would definitely like to keep doing that. I basically started doing those to like kind of learn how to animate a little bit because I'm not really an animator myself. I definitely want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of like, I want them to be really good, and so they take a long time. Currently, at the moment, I am not working on any, but I would like to get back to it in the future. I think once I like make some more comics too. Typically, what I do with those videos is like I adapt a comic I've already done.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I don't have any current plans to, but I definitely am not planning to stop. And thank you for your interest. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Next question.
Let's see. Question for Pan. Which fighting game do you like based on aesthetic alone?
Oh, it's available on Switch, but there's this one Neo Geo fighting game called Waku 7, and it stars a whole bunch of anime knockoffs. Like you got this Tortoro knockoff, you got this Jotaro knockoff, you got a maid with no eyes, and they fight each other, and they got to collect the 7 colorful balls that grant a wish that are not like any other sort of thing in media. It is gorgeous. It is the most colorful game you can play. Waku 7.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, do you guys like any fighting games that are colorful?
Based on aesthetic alone? I think I'd say Power Stone. I never played that game.
It's a party fighter. It's not a real fighting game, as the kids say.
Would you say you're a gamer, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm like really shitty at fighting games, but I like the way the new Street Fighter games. I would say probably the Street Fighter 3 games are like my favorite based on aesthetic because there's just like such gorgeous 2D animation.
Mm-hmm. I prefer like Alpha, like Street Fighter Alpha games because
I like Alpha. Yeah,
they have the most techno fonts ever. Like Street Fighter Alpha 3, like the menu interfaces is it is my aesthetic so hard.
Yeah, I've got that collection that has all those games.
They even have that arcade 1-up with all the Street Fighter games on it.
Oh yeah. I would get an arcade 1-up, but it's like, that's a lot of room for a couple of games.
It's true.
We just put like a Raspberry Pi in there
True.
and download all the games.
Yeah.
Legally.
Exactly.
Shade X has a great question for everyone. What is a piece of media people hate that you enjoy?
I don't remember.
It's a good and tough question.
I like candy corn. It's not
I'll
a
go
piece
ahead,
of media,
yeah.
but it is a
Oh, I
piece of
know.
food.
But it's a piece of candy.
Yeah, it's good also. Yeah.
Would you eat candy corn around like the summertime or around like January, like not October?
Anytime I feel like it, like if I'm ever at the grocery and I'm like, oh look, it's candy corn, I'm gonna take that anytime I want.
Well, it's kind of like those candy hearts, you know, the ones on Valentine's Day.
Gross. That sucks ass. It just tastes like chalk. Who wants to eat that crap?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those.
Yeah, it's garbage.
What about actual chalk candy?
What the heck? You mean like those candy cigarettes?
The candy, yeah, with
Yeah.
like Superman and Batman on it.
Isn't that basically like the fun dip, but without the dip?
Yeah, it's like,
So
who
it's
wants
just fun.
that?
Yeah, the stick part, edible stick.
Gross. Yeah, it used to be called candy cigarettes, but then the libs changed it.
Right.
Yeah,
To candy cigars.
yeah,
Way larger to deal with, I would say.
yeah. Every kid needs to have a heroin addiction by age 10.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
they did have bubblegum cigars.
Bubblegum cigars. Oh man, I'll be like Tony Montana. Gum cigars. Where do I get them? Oh,
You can probably order them on like old like websites that have gift baskets of like the 50s or 60s.
hell yeah, this is real classy. Like, oh man, I'm gonna watch some Looney Tunes watching this. Yeah, I'll pretend I understand half.
Oh wow.
Pretend I watch
I
cinema.
remember
Yeah.
one of the assassination plots for Fidel Castro was putting dynamite in his cigar.
I like that one. It's very visual.
Did it work?
It didn't work.
Oh.
No, but it would have been
They tried it?
yes. It just didn't work.
Oh
So
man.
he smoked a dynamite cigar.
It had gunpowder and such in it, but I think he just threw them out.
You just like, you're despicable.
I wonder if that's where Looney Tunes got it from.
Yeah.
Or maybe JFK was watching the TV going, we have to try that.
Oh no, he just like said, you know what? I'm not gonna smoke anymore. Anyway, I'm gonna buy this convertible. What could go wrong?
Question.
Well, I haven't answered the last question. Can I keep it quick?
Sure.
Yeah, no, you can keep it slow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's. I feel like the hate to love ratio is changing lately on this, but I legitimately love and have always loved the Super Mario Brothers live action movie. And
Oh,
I think
boy.
it is a good movie, personally. The production design is amazing.
Yes, it's that cyberpunk look. It's just like
It's
this.
so cool.
It's not Mario, but it still looks cool as hell.
Yeah,
Which,
Does
hey,
it have the super scope in it or something?
yes.
it does. Yeah, repurposed as a kind of rifle.
As a kid, I was just like, well, I guess Yoshi's a dinosaur. I guess that makes sense. I just accepted
I
it.
thought that was awesome.
Well, they kept changing the script, remember? Like
Yeah.
on set.
Nothing.
Oh yeah, the production was a mess, but who doesn't like Dinosaur Yoshi? It's
Yay.
like the coolest version of Yoshi.
Oh my god, it is just like, I don't know, I miss that era of the 90s where every like adaptation of a comic book or whatever had like these towering cities, like the 90s Batman and the Judge Dredd 90s movie.
That's honestly like an influence. Honestly, like a strong influence on what I want to do with like the
True,
environments of
true,
the
yeah, yeah.
Boxtown show. Yeah,
Because it's also Blade Runner inspired, yeah.
totally, yeah, and very much the Tim Burton Batman Gotham.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, I'm tired of regular normal cities. Give us back the stylized cities.
Gothic horror.
Yeah.
I
Batman.
wonder if in the new Mario movie, because he goes to the warp pipe, do you think he'll be in New Donk City? Or do you think he'll be live action?
It's not going to be live action.
No, I want to believe.
But I do think it will be New Donk City.
Maybe.
Because there's a trailer breakdown where somebody points out there's Odyssey stickers on Toad's pack. I feel like it's possible that I don't know. That's my feeling. I don't think they're going to have it be New York.
That would be very great to see Chris Pratt in like very Marvel-esque realistic overalls of Mario, but they're still stylized. And he's like, "Whoa, I'm falling in." Like the opposite of the Smurfs movie.
Oh, true.
I would enjoy that, but I 100% think they're not.
It's like one of those animes where they go into another world. What do you call them? Ezekiel's or
Well, no,
Isekais.
Mario was always that.
Yeah, true.
He was never born in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, they never really acknowledged.
That's what bothers me about the Yoshi Island games. That always pissed me off. Actually,
It was Destiny.
That retcon where they're like, actually, he is from the Mushroom World. It just feels wrong.
He just came in and out, you know? It was they dropped him in as a baby, but they picked him back up, and then eventually Destiny brought him back in.
I think that was a string of Mario games that it was Mario 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then Yoshi's Island 1 and 2. I think this is the only longest running mainline series of Mario games. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where it's consistently the same Mario.
Is there
What do you mean?
What?
So Mario 1 is real. Mario 2 is a dream, but still counts.
Yeah.
Mario 3 is a stage play. Super Mario World in Japan is Super Mario Bros. 4.
Right.
Hotel Mario originally was going to be Super Mario's Wacky Worlds or Super Mario World 5, but Yoshi's Island is a prequel to the Super Mario World series.
But by that logic, couldn't you just say that all the Mario games are the same Mario? Like, how do you know?
No,
Mario 64
because these
is
are
not
direct
that?
sequels and prequels, much like Ocarina of Time.
You could argue that Mario 64 is a direct sequel to World. It's just a different genre.
I guess, because he does come out of that warp pipe. Personally, I would be freaked out if I was suddenly 3D. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's just like a Page Master. I want to go into the pages and turn into traditional animation.
Oh my god. One time I watched Page Master when I was insanely high on like some really strong edible, and I honestly think that's the only way to watch that movie.
Yeah. It's like the idea of like all the paint melting and just like engulfing me. It's just like, damn, that was scary. I'm not going to a library. And look at me now.
Yeah.
They have all this wonderful animation, and the lesson is go read books. Like,
I'm not
you just
going
showed
there.
me animation's cooler.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I don't want to read.
I want to draw.
But topical news, we got to talk about the Mario movie trailer. It got released and it looks amazing.
Oh yeah, when they
Looks
showed it
cool.
off at what was it, New York Comic Con or whatever?
Yeah.
Everyone was clapping for Jack Black as Bowser. Then radio silence says Mario.
Oh. Yeah, like I believe. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I've resigned myself to the reality that this movie is getting made, and within that context, I think it looks pretty good. I still would rather they not do this. Well, actually, I don't know. I have very mixed
Well,
feelings,
Illumination
but-
was always a good animation company. They just kept making Minions.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am not a fan of Illumination films, but the
Why
fact
is
that
that?
Nintendo is involved, why is that? I just don't like any of them, honestly.
Well, and that's a pretty common thing that, in general, I feel like that most of the movies are pretty okay.
Visually cool, like the Minions movie looked neat.
Yeah,
the new one.
Sing 2 looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
They
Although
got
I
very
will
good
say,
on textures for 3D films.
Yes,
It's very
yeah.
interesting.
yeah, there's great design work that goes into it. Just the stories usually I'm not really a big fan of.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that Nintendo is involved makes me more optimistic.
So considering that between Super Mario Bros. And Detective Pikachu, I mentioned that specifically because it was literally like nearly 30 years since a live action Nintendo movie, let alone a Nintendo movie.
Yeah.
If you remember, College Humor was supposed to work with Nintendo on a Netflix series.
I remember this, yeah.
Someone leaked it and they canceled everything. I remember people online were showing off McDonald's toys of Peach and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Twitter's copyright striking that shit, so we're not even going to show it in this video.
Oh, damn.
That's crazy.
What the heck? Like,
So I do trust them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Nintendo has, it's like a company that does not want to be messed with, so they're like making sure this movie better get 110 on Rotten Tomatoes or else.
It'll definitely make its money, but I'm not sure $1 billion worth.
No, it's going to be the biggest movie of all time. We're going to be memeing on it forever. It's going to be amazing.
They better have an end credit scene with Wario and
Yeah.
Waluigi going, man, it's our turn now.
Yeah. Or they just finds the Smash Ball and then they just make a whole bunch of that lead to the Smash Bros movie. Wait, one thing I want to bring up, like, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I remember talking with somebody and they were saying that this was years ago, but they were saying that the one idea for the Mario Brothers movie was to have Mario and Luigi like captured, and it would follow just like these Goombas or Toads trying to rescue them, and they'd have celebrity voices.
I mean, maybe as like a short.
That's what I heard behind the scenes. It's don't know if that's. I'm sure that was like this was when they were still figuring out, like, can Charles Martinet work for a full thing, even though they have Gru talking like the way he does for a full movie. Yeah.
I think more so than Mario Bros. Super Show, like that kind of accent would work better, like a Brooklyn accent. for Mario.
Yeah, like Tara Strong also made a post saying, "Hey guys, it'd be nice if you all would share a convention story or whatever when you met Charles Martinet, please, because I guess Charles is not feeling good that
Oh, I
he got
can share one.
replaced." Oh,
You
yeah.
were there, Pan.
Yeah.
So we're in line for Charles Martinet, and instead of going with a Mario one, I bought a Wario poster because I love making him Smash.
Mm-hmm.
And he was signing it, Charles, having a good time. And I like tried pulling it away, like I was reaching my hand over, but then he kept drawing. He kept making farting noises and said, "Have a rotten day," and he wrote it on. He was having fun. I was like, "Oh, thank you." But I was like, "Are you done yet?"
Yeah, he was just like just writing all over your poster.
I had to show a picture of it because it's like it's the most any celebrity has written on anything that I asked to get signed.
Oh. No, I got a Charles Martinet story. It's like I was right behind you in line at MomoCon, and I brought Charles Martinet a copy of this one racing game I covered in my Xbox mascots video, Mad Dash Racing. It features Charles Martinet voiced like this dragon that was doing the Wario voice, except he was saying stuff like "Die now, you crap hole," and stuff. And I brought it to him, and I also had a clip queued up of his performance, and I showed it to him, and he was just like, "What is this?" And he was just like staring at this game. I told him like, you were uncredited in this game, and he was just like staring at the thing like it was Mr. Sparkles and Homer Simpson. It's like, what is this? He was just trying to process this damn game and why he wasn't uncredited, and he took a photo of it, and then like he said, don't talk about this game at all. Don't mention it. Don't say I was in it. Don't post it publicly and stuff like that. And I told him, and eventually he just contacted me on Twitter like a week later saying, "Okay, I checked. I don't got any exclusivity contract, so I guess I can talk about it." And it's like, damn.
So you're like, what the hell happened during this game's production? You couldn't talk about it.
It's like a creepypasta story. It's like, you must never tell anyone I was part of Mad Dash Racing on OG Xbox. Because he played a dragon and also Gex the Gecko. He was the last voice of Gex the Gecko in this game.
Have you ever met Charles? Yeah. Charlie?
I have not, but I've heard only good things from people who have.
Yeah.
He's very tall. I remember when I met him, I was like, oh. Like closer to 6 feet tall. I was like, ah.
Dang.
Question by Calypso. Has there been a show or movie that was so uninteresting that you already forgot about it when you finished it?
Okay. You know what? I can think of some things, but now it's like, what did I just watch?
I got a classic. The Dilbert Show.
Yeah, everyone loves Dilbert. What's the creator up to nowadays?
Not focusing on that for a second. The show itself is funny, but like forgettable. So whenever I rewatch it, it's like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
It's disposable. It's like, yeah, it's a Dilbert show. It's fine.
What about you, Charlie?
On the Dilbert Show specifically?
No, like any piece of media or even a video game that you like forgot what happened when you finished it.
I feel like that's every piece of media or video game for
me. No.
Honestly.
Oh no, you okay?
Yeah, no, it's just like there's so much, it all just sort of blends together, you know?
I get that.
But I do remember watching the Dilbert Show and enjoying it at the time as a child. Later, like after it initially aired.
Yeah, because who had, what was it, UPN?
Yeah.
Right.
In the 90s, who had that?
Yes, season 4 of Digimon. That's the only way to watch it on UPN, surprisingly.
What about you, Pan? What's a piece of media?
I'm trying to think what's something I just like was like, well, that happened. Oh, I watched the anime movie? I watched the anime Minions movie. I was like, yeah, that happened. Although I guess I remember a lot that happened in that movie. One thing I don't remember a lot of is I saw the movie Promare, the anime movie. It was very okay.
I've heard some very good things about that though. Is the animation nice at least?
Oh yeah, it's like just it is gorgeous, but that's about it. That it's like I don't know. Promare feels like something like if I saw it like 10 years ago, I probably would have been more blown away by it. But seeing like Trigger Studios and Gainax doing kind of the same thing over and over, it's like, yeah, seen them do this before. Yeah, they do that. Like I didn't really care about many of the Star Wars Visions, that Animatrix type Star Wars thing on Disney Plus. I was like, yeah, these were fine.
Well, if only they were canon, because Star Wars has a illustrious history of stupid things, like a bunny bounty hunter that talked to Han Solo.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he's like, it's been a while since I've seen you, Rabbit.
Captain Bucky O'Hare. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, so I still like stuff that Trigger Studios makes, just not Promare.
We have a question for Charlie.
Okay.
By Lanchy V, capital V at the end. What are some Harvey Beaks episode storylines that were written but never got made?
Oh man.
This fandom is starving for new content.
Oh.
Huh. Oh, let me think.
Any ones you can legally say?
There was an episode we wanted to do, because I don't know who knows this out there, but originally the show was going to be called Bad Seeds.
Oh wow.
Before it got changed to Harvey Beaks. And it turned out that somebody owned that name, and I think it was a guy who was making
yeah
Christian content for the internet.
Yeah, C.H. Greenblatt told us that exact story. Somebody owns Bad Seeds.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted to do an episode of like kind of riffing on that, where a character, like, something is called Bad Seeds, and then they can't use the name. I remember there was a vague idea of like doing something riffing on that, and Nickelodeon was like, no, absolutely not.
No, we got to track down who owns Bad Seeds so we can reclaim the name.
Right.
Bad Seeds cartoon.
It's always tough when naming shows. I do know for the Netflix original series, the Odd Ones Out thing, Oddballs.
Yeah.
There's an underwear company also called Oddballs. So even with Safe Search on, you still see ass.
Yeah.
People
True.
advertising Oddballs. So it's like, be careful, kids.
Oh, that reminds me. So we had a guest on forever ago named Liz Hickey, and she made a pilot called Jammers on Cartoon Network about this awkward girl and her frog friend. But anytime you look up Jammers, you just see like the type of swimsuit that people use for sports, and it's just focused on their crotches, and it's like, oh no. A lot of these photos, oh no. So don't look up Jammers or Oddballs online.
That's why I tell people to create a show name that has good search results, or else it's going to be competition.
There's an HBO show called Episodes, and it's like, what? How the fuck is anyone supposed to search for that?
All those pre-internet shows that have like very generic names.
Yeah.
It'd be very hard to search, even if you type in show.
It's like, come on. It's like, think about how Google's going to affect you, man. It's like, just the fact there's a show called Episodes by HBO. It's like, what the fuck? You idiots.
Question to all. PMV.
Yeah.
Which video game franchise do you think is getting a movie adaptation next?
Oh, actually, they did announce two things that were getting announced by Sega.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like, of all the things Sega's turning into a movie, it's Space Channel 5 and Comix Zone, which I'm glad for, but it's like, wow, that's surprising. Apparently...
So random.
Yeah, because I guess, like...
2D.
I mean, I don't know if they said if it was live action or 2D at all yet, or whatever, but, yeah, supposedly the plot of Space Channel 5 is going to be I think somebody gets abducted into space, and they join Space Channel 5. That could be or just some relatable character we can relate to.
That's kind of a franchise that it got like a few sequels, but it's not too well known.
No.
So maybe the general audience will be fine with it.
I mean, I guess they thought like, hey, TikTok dances are cool. Let's make a movie where it's nothing but TikTok dances. Yeah.
But for Comix Zone, now that's interesting.
Yeah.
You ever played that game, Charlie?
I have, just a little bit.
Yeah, it is awesome. It is like this grungy 90s beat 'em up, but for smart people. But I guess because, again, comic books are popular, so let's make Comix Zone into a thing. I guess they're going for whatever is topically trendy. But I read the synopsis, and it's going to be about, like, a jaded comic book artist working with, like, I think their niece, who's new to comics, and they had to work together as they escape the Comix Zone. Which is kind of different from very different from the games, but I wonder how that's going to turn out. But I'm hoping I'm hoping these are at least visually interesting or whatever.
It'd be very fun, either in stylized 3D for Comix Zone, or it'd be radical if they did a rotoscope kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
Scanner Darkly.
That's expensive. That takes a long time, rotoscoping. Hell no. Oh god.
I've never seen a post. Someone's doing mocap. The quote tweet was, "I can imagine sometimes animators would get these files and they're like, here you go," and they're like, "Oh, thanks." And they just don't use it. They start from scratch.
Yeah, that footage of Benedict Cumberbatch crawling around in a mocap suit pretending to be a dragon. It's like, does that really translate to the dragon animations in that one Hobbit film?
It's probably not going to be 1-to-1 because the mouth is different from a snout.
Yeah.
Do you know mocap people, Charlie, who have experience on that kind of thing?
No, not really. Not aside from, I guess, being friendly with Kevin Temmer on Twitter. I know he comes from that world.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine, because I have a cousin who I think he still works at Infinity Ward, the Call of Duty people. He does the mocap stuff, but he loves that.
Oh, yeah.
He loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Question by Ultimate Guy: what are your guys' favorite Halloween specials?
Well, not a special, but a movie. But I just yesterday was rewatching Monster House. It is pretty damn spooky, but also it's like, God, this movie is kind of ugly. Yeah.
Well, it was like 2006 CGI.
I mean, speaking of motion capture, I'm pretty sure that's a motion captured film.
Oh yeah,
Was it?
true. Yeah, it was by Image Movers, the Polar Express people, and it was written by Dan
okay.
Harmon.
Oh,
Co-written.
wow.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Surprising.
Oh, there's that new show coming. Well, it's a special called the Paloni Show by Justin Roiland and Zach Hadel.
Paloni
It's
Show.
a bunch of skits. I think I showed you the trailer.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of indie animators like Joel Haver. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've seen like a poster for that.
So it's like an anthology series or what?
Yes, that's what it is.
By different online animators that you might recognize.
Because the Paloni Show originally was like one of the many things Justin made to throw at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you want to make it again.
They were like, hey,
That's nice.
hey Justin, Rick and Morty's popular, so here's a bunch of money, make something cray.
Do you think he'll ever get tired, like Seth MacFarlane did with Cleveland Show, American Dad, trying to do Flintstones? He's like, hey guys, I have enough shows.
Possibly. I'm sure there comes a point where you're just like spreading yourself too thin on a bunch of projects. Yeah, maybe they'll do live action and go through that brief period, just like Seth MacFarlane, where he went live action for like 3 movies and then just gave up on that and hosted the some award show. Like, it was that weird time where Seth MacFarlane was like a normal celebrity for making Family Guy, and he hosted the Oscars.
Well, they had Brian and Stewie animated. Remember when they used to do that, like with Shrek and whatnot, and Jimmy Neutron?
Oh, and did they do that?
Yeah, in 2001, they had them in the audience, and they say, we even have Jimmy Neutron.
Oh no, I mean like Brian Griffin. Like they had him in a award show.
Yeah.
Don't remember that at all.
I think they did a song, but no, yeah. We're gonna have it playing on screen, not the audio, because copyright, but we'll just play it. It's the 2007 Emmys.
Golly. Yeah, and nobody watched any of those live action Seth MacFarlane movies.
What about you for Halloween specials, Charlie? Or movies? We'll extend it to movies.
I gotta go OG and the Peanuts Halloween special is still kind of the gold standard to me.
Yeah. It appeals to all our needs to just get some rocks, gather in a crowd, and throw rocks at a person. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just so like beautifully done. It's kind of hard to beat.
Sometimes you just think about someone and you just think, what, my way of life isn't good enough for you, and you just want to get some rocks and get some other people, just start throwing them at
Well, I definitely recommend. Last year I got this. It's the Holiday Peanuts collection.
Oh yeah.
But they rescanned the footage.
4K Peanuts.
Oh my god.
It's amazing detail. Number one, the fact that they still had the film reels, that they scanned it. But you can tell the imperfections in the line work and color work. Like, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
But it's also very jarring. You're like, oh, I can tell what objects are not going to be moved.
Oh man. Yeah. No, hang on. The best Halloween special is crap. Wait, let me look it up. Wait. My God.
I did like the new recent Smiling Friends Halloween special. That was fun.
Remember?
I haven't seen that yet. I have to check that out.
Remember David S. Pumpkin?
No.
Like a million years ago.
Okay, so
Oh wait, that SNL thing?
yeah, so SNL had like a skit with Tom Hanks called David S. Pumpkin, and it was funny, and it was like a meme for a month, and they just like rushed out like a special the very next year, and it's like the most half-assed special they could ever make, where they were like, okay, we got the name brand of David S. Pumpkin. How do we stretch this to like an hour-long special? And they tried, I guess. David S. Pumpkin. It's not good at all. It was.
This looks like a fake cartoon you would see in Mad TV.
It's just, it has the same like visual energy as like that Medea animated film or the Achmed Saves America film by that one puppeteer guy.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that, and they showed the whole movie, and I was like, oh.
Wait, did you get a YouTube ad and it was just the whole movie?
Yeah, it was just like, he joins America, but then
Yay.
he loves it. Now he has to protect his country, and then like,
Oh yeah,
it showed the ending,
yeah,
which like The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
yeah.
where it showed the fight with Rhino.
Achmed's on our side now. Your ass is grass, Osama.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, after seeing Achmed, I bet he is.
Do you think that was like one of the last things he saw? He's like watching a Jeff Dunham special as SEAL Team 6 was coming in.
SEAL Team 6 just took the credit. He was already dead before they got there.
It's like his soul is drained out. Mr. Obama, he's like, was it Jeff Dunham?
How he's just like, how could Achmed do this to me? We watched Naruto together because it's true. Apparently, Osama had a whole bunch of Naruto torrents saved on his hard drive.
He just like watches them in the morning and get hyped up for terrorism.
Hell
Did you
yeah!
have, like Family Guy episodes too?
I'm sure he appreciates the episodes that made fun of him, and it's like he just like points at the screen like that Leonardo DiCaprio gif. It's like, ooh, it's me.
Well, he did watch documentaries about himself.
Oh, true. It's like he's just like, I don't listen to the haters. Yeah, keep on trucking, Osama.
Hashtag brighter days.
Yeah, what's he up to now?
Jeff Dunham.
Yeah,
I think he still makes stuff.
I was talking about Osama. What, like, is he still out there?
Probably not much.
Oh, okay.
Probably like bits of him are out there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's at the bottom of the ocean, so someone's got to get down there and get it. Like, you know, like they got pieces of the Titanic still intact, so he's probably still down there.
Oh yeah, what is with James Cameron's obsession? Who just like I think that's why he just makes movies now to fund his diving expeditions.
Yeah, underwater's pretty wild, you know. You don't know what's down there.
I don't want to know. That shit's scary.
Yeah. Spook.
You ever seen the things? I forgot what it was. Like some sea life literally cannot live on the surface. If you try bringing it up, it disintegrates.
Oh no, my plecos.
He's like, hey, I found this cool turtle. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, R.I.P. bitch. But do we got any other questions?
No.
Okay. I guess we can wrap things up unless somebody has something to say that they watched recently or not, whatever.
We'll reserve a lot more media talk for next episode.
Yeah,
but Charlie,
next time.
You gonna give us a nice send-off?
Yeah. Back Boxtown.
What is there? Yes, back Boxtown.
Link below.
Link below. Any support would be much appreciated. Any of the support that we've gotten so far has been very much appreciated. And yeah, just, you know, if it's something you're interested in, please don't hesitate to check it out.
Since you worked on Jellystone, do you want to try to do a Yogi impression?
I am gonna save everybody by not trying to do a Yogi impression.
This is too cringe. Like, that forces me to do that.
I didn't do I would pitch storyboards for Yogi and not do a Yogi impression because I knew mine was shitty.
It's just like doing a Beatles impression.
What about Booboo?
You know, I think it would be an insult to Justin Timberlake to try to do Booboo.
He did a great job as Booboo.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
He studied, unlike Chris.
Oh,
Chris Pratt.
Is this the end?
Yeah, we'll just leave it on Pan doing a Booboo impression.
Hey, Booboo. Where's...
That's Yogi.
You're stealing my voice, Yogi.
Oh, no. Hey, Yogi, where's that green bear, the one from Yo Yogi? Remember when we did that in the 90s? She was so epic and she hasn't returned my DMs. I think she's mad at me or busy, I can't tell.
She's dead, Booboo. You saw her explode.
No!
It's me, Mario. That's not the voice. You'll have to wait to hear the voice.
Hey, Yogi.
Hey, Peter, make sure you use that cream I gave you.
I won't.
You know, Yogi, I'm starting to feel like I'm invisible to most people. Do you sense that too, or am I just crazy? Oh, I think I'm sad.